In this video, I'm gonna share 6 photography techniques to create amazing photos in average locations. When taking photos in a less desirable area, there are a few things you can do to avoid showcasing the worst part of it. Tip number 1 is to use foreground to hide unwanted elements. This technique not only conceals undesirable parts of the image, but also adds depth or frame the subject. For this image, we used this location but had a road on the left, and on the right it had other distracting things. As you can see in this image, I used the plants to conceal most of the road on the left and also the wall on the right. Additionally, you can use foreground that includes leading lines to guide the viewer's attention toward the subject away from less attractive surroundings. Being aware of what is in the background of your image will also help you to achieve wonders. When it comes to photography, it's not just about the subject. The background plays a crucial role in the overall impact of your image. A distracting or messy background can divert attention away from the subject, while a well-considered background can complement your subject and tell a more compelling story. This brings us to aperture. Using a large aperture to blur things in the background is key. Shooting at an f-stop like f1.4 or f2.8 will not only blur out the background but also give you beautiful bokeh. Play with highlights in the background, such as light coming through trees or reflections from windows to make the background complement your image. Bonus tip time. In Lightroom, you can remove a lot of things from the background, and this will help you to achieve even better results with your photo in bad locations. One example is using the Content Aware Remove tool. You can use it by simply dragging it over a lamp pole and removing it. Sometimes it does take some time. Another way to remove things that are harder to remove in Lightroom is by using Photoshop's new AI beta version. Simply use the lasso tool and select the area you want to remove. Make sure to go over the lines a bit like I did here with her blue top. Now simply prompt the generative fill box what you would like Photoshop AI to remove. I'm just asking it to remove the car, and voila. Angles at which you take photos will also make a difference. Be aware of this and experiment with different angles. Playing with the rule of thirds or even breaking the rules of composition can be helpful. Also, use leading lines to draw your viewer's focus to the subject and not the area around them. Moving 2 steps left or right can also change the photo completely and bring things in line. Notice how the red picture in the window disappears by just one small step. Not only that, but suddenly beautiful lines comes into play. How beautiful is this red brick wall and the lines it creates? Using this angle helped to remove posters in the shop window and people moving inside the shop. One last thing I can mention regarding the use of lines is to be aware of the lines you see, the composition and the background. In this example, I asked the model to take 1 step to the left. The reason for this was that the pillow was cutting her arm. By taking 1 step to her left, the problem was solved and she is now beautifully framed in this area. Light is critical when shooting in any location, especially in bad locations. Take note of where your light is coming from and consider using nearby surfaces as light sources. For example, a wall from a building or a window reflecting light. Using shaded areas of buildings can also help. Play with light behind your model to achieve the beautiful bokeh mentioned in tip number 3. Additionally, use angles with light. Guys, don't just shoot with the light or with the light behind. Allow the light to come from an angle to create depth and even color in your photos. Choose the time of day you're shooting in carefully. For example, late afternoon is way better than midday. Here is a location with average quality of light, and here is the same location later in the day. The difference is incredible, and this was the result. Here is another example of a location in the middle of the day, and here it is later in the afternoon. Now that you have a couple of tips on how to shoot in bad locations, click on this video to know why pro photographers' photos are better than yours.